Alright gang, welcome back to our Triple Threat Challenge here on Zabby, as I like to call it. The actual name is down below in the description. It's probably the thumbnail as well at this point. But anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. It is September, and we've got a couple things we've got to make a decision on today, which we kind of talked about in the last episode, right? We've got to figure out some way to get up the straw. I mean, I'm almost 1,000% positive I am going to be going the approach of bales. I don't see there's any reason why to not go bales. So I think we're going to go bales 100%. And we can stack them up. Maybe we even put up a cheap shed or something. We can stack them up and keep them under cover for a little while. Or we put down a pin for water buffalo and you know, throw the straw into there. Yeah, we can. Other than that, the things we have to do after we get the straw up is start to either buy a plow and get things prepped for these fields and kind of move from there. So I think first thing first, is there anything in the used market? No, nothing there. Okay, unfortunate. I was hoping there'd be something there for us, but there's not. So I'm going to go the square bale approach, I believe. What's the difference here? 180 to 240. 10 mile per hour, 180, 240, 10 mile per hour. I don't know what the difference is between these two. I guess it's the tires. Yeah, I guess it's the tires. Okay, well, I like the way these look better, so we're going to go with these. Now, the problem we're going to have... Ooh, wide tires are $2,000 more. I'm gonna spend it. You know how much I like it. I'm gonna spend it. John Deere twine, sure. Rim color, we can keep it yellow. That's fine. We'll keep it matching. 14,960. So that's gonna take up a good chunk of the money that we got. We're also going to need to get some kind of a front loader as well, right? Or a forklift or something. We can do a front loader on our JCB, and I think that's what we're gonna have to go with. So we're going to take up a lot of the money that we have today just to take care of the bales here, but that's okay. Now I am going to also need to turn this trailer into a flatbed. It has the option to be into a flatbed, but we're going to have to do 2 trips for that no matter which way we cut it, right? So I'm going to head down there. We're going to pick up the baler. I'll probably buy the front loader as well while we're there. As a matter of fact, let's just do it right now. I don't remember, to be fair, I don't remember exactly which front loader this should use. I'm assuming it's very similar. I'm in the wrong, is it small? It must be in the small tractors. I'm assuming it's just a standard one, but I need to make sure that that's the case. Yeah, it's the standard stuff. So, okay, so we can get a quickie or hauler. Okay, well, we'll figure that out when we get down there. So let's head on down to the shop and talk about a few things on the way there. So, those of you who have watched recent episodes, not on this series, I did do the first 2 episodes of this back-to-back. But other episodes, I've been kind of dealing with some sickness there, and I've got a lot of comments that I need to get to and reply to all of you. So, I apologize ahead of time. I will get those done this weekend, and when I say that, the time of this recording, this weekend, this will be out after the weekend's over, but I will get through all of them, each and every single one of them, this weekend. It's just been rough. I feel like I have an excuse every time here, and I don't mean it to sound like that or feel like that, but I was sick for a while, and then last week, at the time of this recording, last week I worked almost 70 hours, and then this week I worked almost 60 hours. So it's just been a little bit of a rough couple of weeks for me, not feeling great, and then working that many hours. I've just been exhausted, to be honest with you. So it's me. It's a me thing. It has nothing to do with you guys. I promise I'll get back to each and every one of you, and I'll reply to each and every comment like I always do. So I just wanted to, clear the air there and let you know I'm not ignoring you on purpose. It's just I have not felt the greatest lately, and obviously I've just been exhausted, so I'd come home and I would literally just sit and do nothing. I did a couple videos when I was sick because I kind of had to, but I was really trying to get over that sickness too, and I still have a little bit, but otherwise, I'm fine now. There's still a little drainage, if you will, to an extent. I don't think I sound too nasally anymore. Maybe I do, I don't know, but overall, I feel significantly better, I'll put it that way. So we're here at the shop, so we can go ahead and modify this to add one onto it. Now, I don't know quite which one I want to do. Should we do quickie or hauler? That's the only two options we have. Wait a minute. This has standard 130 horsepower, excuse me. 130 horsepower standard. Okay. Where is the shop? Is it in the back? I don't remember where this is. Wrong one. It's got to be in the back. Also need to repair this, by the way, as well. I didn't repair it when I bought it, because remember we bought this used. So let's go ahead and repair that right now, just so I don't forget. And then customize it. Yeah, 130 horsepower. So we can do the math on that. 130 horsepower. Probably this one. A hauler or quickie. They're both the same price, so it doesn't really matter which one we pick. We almost always do quickie. Let's do hauler. We almost always do quickie. And then we need... I'm going to go the pallet fork approach here, I think. You know, really, you'd probably want to do a bale spike, but I'm going to go pallet fork, I think. It'd be nice to have that, though, too, wouldn't it? I think I'm just going to go basic fork for right now. I mean, there's some other options. Well, actually, this is cheaper, isn't it? Maybe I should go with this. I've never used this before. I know the guys have been using this in the competitive one-tile challenge series. But I've never used this before. You know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm going to make it... is there a JCB yellow in here? Yeah, I'm going to make it like a JCB yellow just to kind of match this a little bit better. Alright, so we got that. So it puts us all the way down to 47,296. It's still a decent amount of money, as a matter of fact. I'm actually happy with that amount of money. I'm glad we did those contracts in the last month, right? Oh, I forgot to modify this. Whoops. Oops. We got more money to spend. I forgot to modify this, too. To have a front loader availability to hook up. Custom front loader power. Another 1,500. That's fine. Alright. Now we're set. I really like this tractor, man. It actually, it just drives smooth. I really like the way that this tractor feels. I know that sounds weird. I'm playing a game, but it's the truth. There are some tractors that feel different than others. They really do. I can't explain it. All right. We've got our setup. I think it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, we couldn't change the John Deere tractor to, or John Deere tractor, the John Deere baler to be, you know, a different color. Try to kind of match the colors a little bit, but it would feel a little weird, though, also, at the same time, changing a John Deere to be only yellow and black. They have a John Deere yellow and black, but I think it's like their construction stuff, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I need to put the beacon back on. Ooh, there's a nice beacon on the back of this one. Fantastic. All right, well, let's get back up to the yard there, and we can get started on baling. It's probably going to take a bit, so we'll get in the groove here. See how many bales we get. How many bales do you think we'll get? I think I'm going to do both fields today. Even if we don't get them plowed up, that's okay. I mean, honestly, I would love to get one of them plowed up and prepped. I don't think we're going to be putting anything in there this season. At least I don't think so. There's a couple options, I guess, still for some things. Maybe we could do barley in the next month or even this month or whatever. And maybe that's what we do. But we'll see. Also, real quick, I will reply to this comment, but in case you watched this one before, I've had a chance to for some reason. It shouldn't be, but in case, or maybe you just haven't saw the comment reply yet. Someone was asking if the two fields you start with, if you have to keep those fields. You do have to keep those fields. I don't think I actually mentioned that, so that's a great question. I should have probably mentioned that prior, but I don't think I did. You are not allowed to sell those two fields you start with. You do have to keep them. I feel like if you're allowed to sell them, it would make this series a little bit easier, and we don't really specifically want that. At least I don't specifically want that for this series, because those fields are worth a decent amount of money. So if you sold them, and let's say whatever crop you got a decent amount of the smaller fields, you could really speed up the process of getting those fields. So you are not allowed to sell them. You have to keep those fields. We'll leave it at that. So I'm going to drop the front loader off here because we don't really need it right now. And we'll get started here, and we'll see how long it takes us to get all these bales going. All right, well, we are cruising along nicely. We've got that field over on the other side completely done. A couple little tiny scraps were missed, but not really anything major. And we're starting on this field now. So there's a lot left to go. It actually took a lot longer than I anticipated. It is struggling a little bit. I say it, the tractor specifically is struggling a little bit going up the hills. Still can do it, but it is going at a little bit of a slower pace than we would have liked. Obviously, when it's at its full stint here, you can see we're going around 9-10 mile per hour. Which is fantastic, right? We're cruising right through it, but when we start hitting the hills, we're down to 1-2 mile per hour. So we're struggling a little bit there, but overall, this is working out really well for us, and I'm actually very happy I went with the square bales. I had kept going back and forth between square and round bales, and I would argue most of the time, whenever I start a series like this where we're, early stages, I almost always go round bales. I don't know why, I do. Square bales are certainly much easier to deal with, right, when it comes to picking them up off the fields themselves, especially with a trailer perspective, right? You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry about turning the bales on their side, on the other side, I guess, of their side. I mean, they're all on the side, I guess, no matter which way you cut it, right? So you get what I mean, though. Turning them on their other side so you can stack them on top of each other easily without them rolling off. We'll put it like that. Square bales, I mean, they're already kind of set in that stone in that way, right? So, yeah, but we're cruising. Rain's in the forecast. I would honestly like to have all the straw baled up before the rain gets here. And realistically, as I mentioned kind of at the beginning of the episode here, we really should probably think to put down some kind of a shed. Probably more of like an open air type of shed, just has a cover over top of it to keep most of the rain off, right? It would probably be nice to have that, not only just for the bales, but also just to kind of store the harvester in there specifically more than anything else, and I guess the baler now at this point. We also have the ability to do 3 contracts here in September, because it is September now, right? So we did move months, and that's part of the rules, right? It's down below in the description. And what I mentioned earlier, I'll update the descriptions as well to state that you're not allowed to sell the starting fields, because that was a great question. So I'll update that to make sure that that is stated there as well. But, yeah, we're cruising, man. We're cruising. Things are going as well as they can, given the circumstances. So, 3 contracts in September. We probably are going to do a second episode in September, if I'm honest with you, gang. We'll probably focus on, getting the bales mostly done here today. And then maybe we do 1 contract today. I guess we'll look at the contracts and see what's out there. Anything come out in the used market? No. That's a very nice tractor, but it's not something we need to even think about doing right now. It's not really a concern of ours at this point. There's no reason for us to spend that kind of money. We would be broke, and that would require us to sell this tractor, and I don't even think we would get there even if we sold this tractor. So there are quite a few contracts out here, so looks like we're, in a good spot there. There's some harvesting contracts which may be worth our time. Actually, the field right next to us is ready to harvest. Now, one thing we could look at, I talked about this last time, was buying a field. That's too expensive. I'd love to have that field, actually, because it's, near our yard area. It's a nice size field. But we're just a little short. So maybe what we try to do is make up some of that money with some contracts, right? And if we do those contracts in then, let's say, the next episode, we might, in theory, be able to buy that field and harvest it in the same episode, right? It depends. Now, we do need to plow these fields. We don't have a plow of any sort. We can get a plow. It'll probably be a plow that we utilize often, just because I've mentioned it many times. I don't like the more traditional plows. It's just my personal preference on that. I just don't like these type of plows. I probably should practice with them a little more, so maybe I should get them, but I just don't really like them. I like this plow here, or where's our other one? This one? This one's fine too. I like the ones that are a little bit more, they're all pull behind, so that's not really going to make sense, but instead of it being staggered, I guess I kind of like them, I don't know, horizontal width versus vertical width. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm talking about. I just showed you what they were. So, I don't know. We'll see. The thing about those, though, is they're not super expensive, right? We can get this one for $8,000. Honestly, we would want something a little bit bigger than that, but I'm not quite sure we could do it without going super unrealistic, which, taking the one plow and turning it backwards allows you to, no matter how much horsepower you have, it allows you to go full stint. So, I said I'm going to utilize liftable bale and pallet mod on this series. I'm not 100% against going with some unrealistic type of things, but I don't want, me personally, you can do whatever you want. I've given you the basic limitations and restrictions of the series, but you play how you want to play, but I'm not quite sure I want to go to that level. Maybe I do. Maybe I will eventually. Maybe I will sometimes, every once in a blue moon or something, when we have a ton to do and we need to get stuff done quickly, right? But I think more times than not, I don't think I want to go that approach personally. I think I want to keep it slightly more realistic. And I know, having said that, and having said what I said a little bit ago about, using liftable bale and pallet mods, right? But anyway. Now, the reason why we got having said all of that, in case you stumbled across this, you might be like, well, why'd you even buy a front loader then if you're using the liftable bale and pallet mod? Well, the baler we're currently using is not compatible with that. So we cannot pick up these bales that we're dropping on the ground with the liftable bale and pallet mod. I said I'm going to utilize it. I am going to utilize that liftable bale and pallet mod, but it's going to be on a case-by-case situation, right? It's not always going to be a situation where I can use that. So, and this is prime reason right here. All the balers, except for like the small one that we use a lot. I don't really want to make those tiny little bales on this series. Except for that one, and one of the newest ones I just installed, which is also small little bales. I you know, those are really the only ones that you can utilize as a liftable that we could afford, that would make sense for us to afford. So I just didn't really want to do that in this series. I just didn't think it would make sense in this type of a series. So that's why we're going about it this way. Am I going to struggle because we're doing it this way? Yes, I will. I will struggle for sure, but it's okay. That's all right. This is going to be a long series, as I mentioned. I'm excited about this series. I really am excited about this series. Seems like a lot of people are. Like, I skimmed through a couple of the comments. Obviously, as I mentioned, I haven't replied to them as such yet, but they will be replied to this weekend. Time of this recording. Be fully transparent. I'm recording this Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. But they will. I promise. I will get all of them replied to. I promise. Now, this isn't really you know, a specific straw path that I'm going on right now, but I'm going to do one more here just because of where we dropped that bale out, I guess bale out works too in that instance, but it just kind of is in a little bit of the way, so I just want to try to give myself a little bit more room there for when I come down here and turn around. So that's why we're doing this. It's not a ton more room, but it will allow me to at least try to maneuver around it. Because, again, it's not liftable bale and pallet mod compatible, so I can't just jump out of the tractor right now and move that bale out of the way, right? I'm going to have to kind of either push it or drive around it. And I think I'd prefer just to drive around it. So I'm going to get all the way up here to the top on this row here, and then once we do that, we're going to take a quick break from doing the baling, and I'm going to put the front loader on. And we're going to attempt to try to move some of these bales out around, more specifically on the other field versus this field. I'm going to try to move some of those up into the main yard area for storage purposes, right? Will we sell some of this straw when it comes time to sell it? Maybe. We might. We very well might. But we'll see, right? A lot of this I had initially intended to, you know, utilize for a water buffalo, but it's probably going to be a while before we can actually even do anything with the water buffalo. We could potentially put down some kind of a pin and then, you know, put some of the straw in there as storage. It can just hang out in there. It's not going to bother it, at least from the game perspective. It's not going to bother it. But I don't know if that's really the smartest use of our money either. You know, like I said, it probably would be smarter for us to consider buying fields versus you know, buying something that essentially is just going to sit there for a while, right? So, yeah, I don't know. That's something we got to think about still. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. See, we're struggling when we get up this hill. We are struggling. But yeah, this field right here would be wonderful to have. It's a nice size field. It's not as big as these, but it would be great. With it being so close to our yard, it would be nice to have that this early. Obviously, I want to get those poppy fields, but I'm kind of... This is the mindset I have. Whether it's right or wrong, this is the mindset I have. I kind of am in the mindset of, why don't we wait on buying the poppy fields until next season and see if they are once again planted with poppy. If they are, then we can buy it then when it's already been planted with poppy, right? Now, obviously, we have to replant it, but if we can buy it when it's already been planted, that's going to save us money up front, right? And then that way we can have some in storage ready to go whenever we do buy that production for them. Oop, not that. All right, how's this thing work? Like I said, I'm fully transparency with you. I don't really know how this thing works. Okay, you just fasten them like belts. Oh, okay, that's actually pretty nifty. Now, can you... I'm assuming, I don't know how many. I probably need some kind of a back weight at some point, but I was going to say, how many can I stack on top of each other? Assuming quite a few. Probably at least 2 or 3, right? At least. Alright, now that I know I can turn this off, I don't need that. You guys know I don't really like those up as much as possible. I like to keep it... Oh, nope, you can only do one at a time. Well, that's unfortunate. That almost doesn't make it worth it, actually. I'd almost think I'd prefer to have the pallet fork at this point. I thought the guys were maybe I got the wrong one. I was going to say I thought the guys were utilizing a lot more than just one on this. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just one. I mean, I think they were utilizing it more for a pallet perspective. I'm just going to put this right here for right now. It's probably in the wrong spot. And I mean, I always put stuff in the wrung spot. But I'm going to put it right there for right now. Till we decide what we're going to do if we get a shed or something, whatever. I think I'm most of the sheds, except for the ones that I've used a lot, long time ago, obviously, but a lot, they're all relatively expensive, right? There's not many cheap sheds out there, and the ones that are cheap, it's like they're so cheap that it's super unrealistic. It's like $1,000 for this big, massive shed. Like, it doesn't really... I mean, you can use it. I very well may at some point, right? But at the same time, it's like... I feel like that's too easy, almost. Maybe it's me. Like I said, I'm not, anticipating a short series on this one. I kind of want this one to run for a while. Like we did the first Triple Threat Challenge, for a matter of fact. So it looks like we got 4 bales on this field. Yeah, 4 bales on this field. Perhaps I'm doing something wrong. Perhaps somebody knows there's a way to do more than just one bale, but I tried to stack it on top of each other and then push this down on the top one, and it only strapped to the bottom one. Perhaps there is another way to do it. I don't know. I'm not lined up at all on this one. Oof. Let's get ourselves in a better spot here, huh? There we go. I mean, I do like the fact of how I can stack them like that. Like, that is super nice, but... when it comes time to move all those, really, I think I'd want a pallet fork because I can move all of them at the same time. Will it be elegant? Will it be nice? Probably not. Will I screw it up? More than likely. Yeah, more than likely. So this is probably the easier way and the better way to go about it for someone who, like me, who is not very good at stacking bales. But, or pallets for that matter. If you have any other questions about the series, maybe something that I might be missing or something that you're thinking about doing that you're not quite sure, make sure you let me know down below. Like I said, lately it's been a little bit since I've been able to get back to a couple people, but it was not on purpose. But I do read every single comment every time. Every single comment. And I try to reply to every single one of them. Sometimes if there's a follow-up reply, Google, YouTube, whatever, they, for whatever reason, do not say anything to you most of the time, at least. Sometimes they actually give you notification that there's been a follow-up response, but most of the time they don't. I don't know why it's like that. It's kind of weird. Because sometimes it does, and then most of the time it doesn't. And so, but at least the very first comment, I'm always normally notified of that of some sort, one way or another. So I like I said, I do the best I can to try to get to all of them, and I certainly can't get to all of them every single day. I wish I could, but I will get to them all, and I will read them all, and I will respond to all of you every time. So, this is going to be pretty good, man. These are pretty large bales. If I jump out of here really quick and just kind of show you the size here, I mean that is 9,000 liters of straw in each one of these. That's a lot of straw, man. That's a lot of straw. Now, straw's not worth anything. We could potentially go the approach, and it's going to take a lot of the money to get there, but we could try the approach of, utilizing some kind of a BGA or something of along those lines to make some extra money off the straw, right? Would we get enough money out of the price of the BGA, though, for the amount of straw we have? I don't know. Eventually, yeah, but probably not the first go-round, I would think. But, that's another option. But if we do go that option, it's going to obviously prolong the series further because we're spending money on something that is not directly needed for the actual threat objectives, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's, something we're doing. A lot of people have been getting some difficult crops, it seems like. Some people got a couple crops that were just littered all over the map. I think somebody said they got canola, I saw, and I think canola is scattered everywhere. Yeah, they've got some of the larger fields here. It's literally all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fields. So as I'm saying, some people... I feel like I got actually a little lucky with Poppy. I'm excited to do Poppy because, again, I've never done it. But some people, you're gonna be struggling a little bit depending on which one you get, right? Oats got a lot, barley has a lot, wheat has a lot, right? Some more of the ones you would expect, they've got a lot. Now it's not that the stuff to harvest them are super expensive or probably even the mill. I don't know how much the mill is, but speaking of that. I do know, so recently they pushed out like an emergency fix for this map, so there was an update to it. So I actually, luckily enough, I had 2 episodes recorded, and then that issue occurred, and they had to push another update out. I think it came out at the time of this recording. This is Saturday morning. I think it came out yesterday or maybe Thursday night. I don't know, but they had to push out an emergency fix for this map. Evidently, there was an issue with doing anything in the fields. You were having an issue doing that. I know a couple people reached out to me. Cresty specifically reached out to me and told me that it has been resolved since. But I didn't run into that issue because I just updated it before I started this one. So if you are having an issue with it still for whatever reason and you haven't looked, there's probably an update for it at this point. Maybe go hit that update and it should resolve that issue for you on this map. But anyway, with that update, or the previous update, I guess, the one that caused an issue, they did add some kind of a production for mustard. So mustard actually now has an ability to do something on the map, versus when we had first started, there wasn't anything there. So, and also somebody told me that mustard, and I didn't know this, mustard evidently can be fed to chickens, which I didn't realize. So there's a prime one right there, right? If you got lucky enough that you ended up getting the mustard crop and you got chickens, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will, right? You're getting to do both of those things, and you can utilize the fields that you got to feed your chickens. You don't have to do another thing. So for me, obviously, poppy oil can't be fed to water buffalo, right? So I've got to do other stuff to get the water buffalo up and running. And realistically, what I'm probably going to end up doing is these fields here in the yard area, or at least 1 or 2 of them at least, because I said I would like to kind of own I'd like to own a few of these fields in this area, right? I'd like to own probably 43, maybe 36, 35, something like on that, or even some of these down here anyway. Just some in the yard area so they're close by. And honestly, the way that I'm planning to do my setup is I think I'm putting my water buffalo here in our yard area up here, and I'm just going to have the whole yard area kind of heavily focused on doing stuff for the water buffalo. Like I said, maybe 1 or 2 other fields in here that won't have a focus on that, or maybe we rotate them around, whatever it may be. But I think that's what my focus is personally going to be on, is the yard area will be for the water buffalo. Mostly because the way that I'm going to go about this, and whether it's not right or wrong, it's just the way I'm going to go about it, is, I'm going to buy that poppy oil production, and all the poppy will go into that. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to buy any other production specifically or not. I probably will. I'll probably put some down as well. You are certainly allowed to do that. I don't think I mentioned that. You are 100% allowed to... Maybe I did in the beginning. I don't remember. But you are 100% allowed to put productions down. You just can't put down a production for whatever crop you got from the random generalization at the beginning, right? So for me, poppy, I cannot put down a poppy oil production on my yard and count that as a win. You can't. You've got to buy the one on the map. Now, there are a few other crops that I I probably should have thought about it. I didn't really think it was going to be, but like oilseed radish, things like that, it's just a respin. If there's nothing on the map, you know, Krusty also said he got something and there was nothing on the map for that at the time, at least, of when he started. And if that's the case, just do a respin or a re-randomize, whatever you want to do. Just do that. You know, it's unfortunate. I didn't really think that would be an issue, but I do get it. Some people probably may not have that on the map when they load it up, right? It's going to be randomized on that too. So, in any case, if you do get that for whatever reason, yeah, just respin. Not a big deal, gang. Just respin it. Also saw a comment in my Discord, which, if you haven't, there's a link down below. I got all those responses done yesterday on the Discord. And this morning, I guess, but yesterday mostly. But I did see a comment on my Discord that somebody, they got to the January month already and did the randomizer for, can they pay off their loan? They got no. So then they had to go to the second question, and the randomizer was, do I need to take out more of a loan, yes or no? So, and they were basically making a comment that I can see how this can become a nuisance and very difficult as it continues on. And that is 100% true. $100,000 is not a lot of money. It's not really going to increase your loan interest all that much. But when you multiply it by 12 months, because you can't do anything with it for 12 months, it's gonna add up a little bit, right? It's gonna add up a little bit. And there's a high probability that you're going to continue to be stuck with it for a while, right? Because next month, it could be, or next year, it could be the exact same thing again. You could have to take out another $100,000 loan. You have to wait a whole other 12 months before you can, try to potentially pay it off again, right? So you've got to be very financially smart with your money in the bank account, right? You really want to try to have as much money in that bank account as possible when January comes around, so you can try to remove that threat altogether, right? I think that's one of the more creative things I've come up with when it comes to a loan. I really like the way it's working out, and I think I might even attempt to try to incorporate that in other future series down the line, just as another, difficulty option to add to something I'm working on, maybe, right? I really like that. But we'll see. Can't guarantee it. We'll see, though. So yeah, we've got a long episode on our hands here. I know some people were asking for longer episodes, so you're going to get one today, because we're going to get the rest of this straw done. I don't see any way we're going to be able to do any plowing of any sort today, so we will definitely be doing a second episode here in September. That second episode will either, it will have all 3 contracts probably done in it, and then it'll probably do plowing of these fields, maybe buying a field too, depends on the money we get and what's available, and if it makes sense, right? If it makes sense for us to do the contracts and buy a field and harvest it, we might go that approach versus actually plowing any of the fields up, or maybe we just do one of the fields plowed up, whatever. But I think, as I mentioned, I think buying some fields right now makes a whole lot of sense, because it's only going to help us as we move along. Is it going to harm us at the end of the year here, or January, beginning of the new fiscal January year, when we have to, go through those randomized questions? It might, right? Because we're spending money that we could utilize to help pay off part of that loan. But again, the way that I see it, unless something drastic happens between now and then, I don't see any way that we're going to have $150,000 in the bank account to pay off the loan fully in the first year. There's a chance, but I don't see any way of it happening. You really got to utilize those contracts to your advantage. You got to get the most expensive contracts and do those. You're going to have to be very strategic about how you sell things that we do have, right? Etc. But I fully believe there is a chance that you probably could get to $150,000 before the end of the year if you did the contracts properly and you did everything as you should. There's a chance. But again, it's only a 50% chance that you're even going to be able to pay off the loan at the end of the year, right? first thing you ask it, am I able to pay off my loan? If it says no, it doesn't matter if you have the money or not. You are not allowed to pay off the loan. You've got to hold on to it for a whole other year and then try again. So, personally, as much as I would like to have the 150, I think I'm just going to go on the mindset of the first year. Even if it says yes, I'm not going to be able to pay it off. So I'm going to go with the mindset of I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to try to get everything else set up, get my farm set to a point where I'm making significant amount of money, right? Then I'll focus on the loan. Probably next year. Probably not this year, but the next year I think I will probably be focused pretty heavily on that. Let's just, fingers crossed, hope that in January I don't get no, I'm not allowed to pay off the loan. And if I get a yes, we're golden. I can pay off as little or I can pay off none if I want to, but it just gives me the option to do so. But if I get no, then you have that very dangerous part of that threat, which is, am I having to take out more of a loan? And if it's yes, then things start getting a little more dicey as we move along then, because then you're going to need $250,000 at the end of the following year to pay it off, right? Not saying it can't be done, just saying things can start getting a little dicey quickly if things go wrong. Which, part of me kind of hope it does go wrong, just so we can see the true struggle and the pain that can cause. But at the same time, part of me is like, please don't. Okay, I've rambled on for 27 minutes. You guys let me ramble for 27 minutes. Oh. And we still have a lot of straw to pick up here, gang. There's a lot left on the field here. I would say we're halfway through. Maybe a little more than halfway, but not by much. So, let's get back to work. Let's get the straw taken care of here and get ourselves set up in a much better position for another episode in September. Okay, so you can pick up two at a time, technically. They have to be right next to each other. They just can't be stacked on top of each other. A little too late to realize that now, but it is possible to do that. So I guess as we move forward, it will be a little bit faster knowing that now versus before. But, yeah. So that's actually a little bit better now that we know that. Which I guess I should have kind of realized that with the way that the forks kind of were set up. I mean, they're kind of upside down forks is really what they are. But, yeah, anyway. We know now, so good enough. did knock some over. You know it was inevitable that was going to happen, given the skill that I have, or lack thereof, when it comes to stacking bales, but, you know, whatever. We'll get them cleaned up. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, this field over here is gigantic. That is a massive, massive field. That field has got to be outrageously expensive. I'm sure we've looked at it, and I already forgot. But that field is massive. Truly massive. 113. 344,000. Yep. Yep. Sounds about right. There are some very skinny fields here that are a lot closer to the amount we need. So again, even if we decide not to buy field 43 or whatever it was, there's some other options, right? There's some other choices to choose from. So this is the final set of bales here to kind of get pushed over here and in some kind of orderly fashion. Perfect. All right. Well, it was a whole day full of nothing but straw work and bale work, but I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to leave the episode at this point. Thanks to my members. I cannot thank them enough. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. There's a link down below. It helps me out an absolute ton by doing that. If as little as hitting the like button, which is one of the last free things in the world you can do, is super helpful. So I do appreciate each and every single one of you who do that for me. It does mean a lot. There's a Discord link down below. I mentioned that earlier. My second channel link is down below. I do videos that are not Farming Simulator related on that channel if you're interested in things like that. It's normally first or third person shooter type of games, normally. Every once in a while I sprinkle in something else like hack and slash, Dynasty Warriors, things like that. But a lot of fun stuff that I do on there. Not daily videos on that channel. It's normally every other day or every couple of days, or whenever I have the time to do so. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your continued support. It really means a lot, man. I'm glad that a lot of you are enjoying this series, and hopefully you're having a lot of fun watching me struggle to play through it as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.